All right, today we're going to talk about a word you've probably heard a ton lately, but one that's often really misunderstood: gaslighting. Let's dig into what it actually is, why it's so much more than just a buzzword, and why being able to spot it is so important.
Wow, that's a heavy question, right? But it cuts straight to the heart of what we're talking about today. If you've ever been in a situation where someone made you doubt your own memories, your perceptions, to the point where you literally felt like you were losing your mind, well, you've touched the very core of gaslight. To really get what gaslighting is all about, you have to picture what some experts call the web of confusion. Because this isn't just about a simple lie or a disagreement. Nope, it's a deliberately built trap designed specifically for someone's mind.
So here's the crucial point. Gaslighting is not just lying. It's a pattern. It's a systematic, repetitive campaign of manipulation. And the whole goal? It's to completely wear down someone's confidence in their own mind, making them totally dependent on the abuser for what's real.
And the term itself has a pretty fascinating backstory. It actually comes from a 1938 play called Gaslight. In it, a husband keeps dimming the gas-powered lights in their home, but then tells his wife she's just imagining it, all to make her think she's going crazy. So the idea went from a stage play to a classic movie, all the way to becoming Merriam-Webster's Word of the Year in 2022. That really shows you how much this concept has become a part of our world. And this is why that web of confusion metaphor is so perfect. It's never, ever just one lie. It's this tangled, sticky network of denials, twists, and distortions, all woven together over time. It's designed to be so confusing that the person caught in it can't see a clear way out.
Okay, so how do they actually build this web? Well, manipulators tend to rely on a pretty predictable set of tactics. Let's pull back the curtain and open up their playbook, shall we? We're going to look at them one by one.
First up, the most basic tool in the box: simple, flat-out denial. A gaslighter will look you right in the eye and insist that something you know for a fact happened, didn't happen at all. It's a direct attack on your memory. And it sounds just like this. That absolute certainty, combined with the little suggestion that your memory is the problem, that's how they plant that first tiny seed of self-doubt. It's so blunt, but it's incredibly effective and leaves you feeling completely thrown off balance. So once they've started denying facts, the next step is to deny your feelings. This tactic is all about making your emotional reactions seem totally invalid, like they're not important, or you're just completely overreacting. The message here couldn't be clearer. Your feelings are the problem. By constantly telling you that your valid emotions are some kind of personal flaw, they make you start to question if you even have a right to feel upset in the first place. Then we have this really insidious tactic: actively rewriting history. They don't just deny your memory anymore. Now they challenge it head-on and replace it with their own made-up version of what really happened. This is a total power move. It sets the manipulator up as the one and only authority on reality. And when you hear this over and over again, you're basically being trained to distrust your own mind and just accept their story as fact. Another one is to use confusion itself as a weapon. The manipulator will just pretend they have no idea what you're talking about, or they'll flat out refuse to discuss it, leaving you stranded in this fog of uncertainty. A simple little phrase like this is designed to just kill the conversation. It's a total dead end. By pretending they're clueless, they make you wonder if you're the one who's not making sense, forcing you to just drop it. So what happens when a gaslighter feels like they're being cornered? They pivot hard. This is called diverting, and it means they'll either suddenly change the subject or, even more cleverly, flip the blame right back onto you. And just like that, poof, the spotlight is off their behavior and shining directly on your supposed issues. It's a classic move that immediately puts you on the defensive and lets them completely dodge any kind of accountability. And finally, there's the really ugly tactic of using stereotypes. A gaslighter will take these broad, harmful biases about gender or age or mental health and use them as a weapon to dismiss your concerns as irrational. This one is just so damaging. It's often used to completely invalidate a person's emotions by painting them as unstable or out of control. It's a tactic that leans on old societal prejudices to give the manipulations some extra unearned weight. Now, these tactics, when they're used over and over, they aren't just frustrating or annoying. They are deeply, profoundly damaging. Let's take a serious look at the real toll this web of deception takes on a person's well-being. The psychological fallout is like a devastating domino effect. That constant self-doubt breeds serious anxiety and depression. As your self-esteem gets chipped away, you often pull away from friends and family. This leads to something called cognitive dissonance, which is just the pure mental exhaustion of trying to believe two opposite things at once. And all that intense mental stress, it doesn't stay in your head. It often shows up physically as headaches, insomnia, all kinds of things. And this is so important to understand. Gaslighting is not just bad communication. It's a serious form of psychological abuse. Research actually shows that when someone goes through this for a long time, it can lead to complex PTSD. It can fundamentally change how a person's brain works and their ability to trust, not just other people, but their own sense of what's real.
Okay, that was all pretty heavy, but here's the good news, and it's really good news. Just being aware of these tactics is the first and most powerful step you can take toward breaking free. So let's end this on an empowering note and talk about how you can start to take back your own reality.
So what's the game plan? How do you break free? Well, it starts with setting firm boundaries. That means calmly stating what you know is true and then refusing to get into a debate about it. To help ground yourself, it can be really helpful to gather evidence. Keep a journal or save texts. Getting an outside perspective from a therapist or a trusted friend is absolutely vital for rebuilding your confidence. And in the end, you have to recognize that sometimes the healthiest and maybe the only choice is to get out of the situation completely.
So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Now that you know these tactics and you know the damage they can do, how can we, in our own lives, with our partners, our friends, our colleagues, how can we consciously choose to build relationships based on trust and respect instead of manipulation? It's a question that's worth all of us thinking about.